all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNI news video. Now, we've got a lot to cover today, and for today's video, I'm going to be keeping it to all things Marvel related, but there are a number of things I wanted to share with you on both the toy front as well as the movie front. One of which is something that just broke right before I was going to film this in regards to James Gunn and him returning to Disney and Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'll go into more details with that in just a minute. But before I do that, I just want to give you a couple updates. So I talked about this briefly in my last video. I mentioned how I was going to be doing a contest pretty soon on my personal Instagram page. You know, I have Instagram pages for the websites Marvelous News, Toy News International, Jedi Insider, you know, which you may follow. But I also have my own personal page where I just generally, I don't post up stuff there every day, but I'll, you know, when I'm working on a review or something, I'll throw up some pictures of the figure I'm reviewing, or, you know, if I'm at a show like Toy Fair stuff, I'll throw up images of stuff from there as well. So it's just, you know, it's, like I said, it's just my own personal Instagram page. But I decided to do this contest because, you know, this page is fairly new and needs some help with growth. Just broke 300 followers, I think, the other day. I think I'm up to 400 now. But I went on and launched this contest, and I'm giving away a full set of the Kingpin Build-A-Figure Spider-Man themed Marvel Legend figures. So if you have not yet gotten your hands on that wave, then this would be a good chance for you to try and get it and cost you nothing. I will put a link to the details, and hopefully you will check that out. And then also, while we're on the subject of contest, as I often talk about in these videos, we continue to run our message board contest where we give away $100 store credits to places like Big Bad Toy Store. We do one on both Toy News International and Marvelous News. So if you're looking for a good community to join and talk about your passion, the thing you're passionate about, which I assume is action figures since you're watching this video, or maybe not passionate is too strong a word, but something you enjoy, you know, action figure collecting, then hopefully you will check out these communities, become a part of them. The thing about these contests is, you know, basically the more you participate and are active on them, the better your chances of winning. And even if you don't, you know, we do these every couple of weeks, so even if you don't win this time around, and we just started a new one on Marvelous News, the one on Toy News International, the current one has another, you know, will end at the end of this week, and then we'll do another one. But the thing is if you keep participating and being a part of the communities there, then your chances of winning significantly increase. So please do check out all the contests. Now the other thing is, as I'm filming this, I'm just 2 subscribers away to hitting the 50,000 subscriber mark. In fact, for all I know, by the time you're watching this, I may have already broken the 50,000 subscriber mark. So I do plan on doing something very special to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed and watched these videos on a regular basis. Details on that, since I'm just 2 people away, I imagine will be coming next week. I will probably do just a video just talking about that and saying thank you and everything once I actually break the 50,000 mark. But again, just in case you missed that video or what have you, thank you guys. Thank you everybody who has subscribed. You know, 50,000, I mean, there are definitely YouTubers out there, a lot larger YouTubers out there, but you know, 50,000 I think is a pretty impressive landmark. I mean, I do want to get to 100,000. I mean, that's my next goal, is to break the 100,000 mark, and hopefully I can get to 100,000 faster than I got to 50,000. But I know it takes your support in order to do that, and so I just want to say thank you. So stay tuned next week for details on something special I'm going to do for you guys just here on YouTube. Okay, so let's get into the news for today. So again, I'm going to be keeping it to all things Marvel, starting with the most recent news that, like I said, just literally broke right as I was starting to film this. So as it stands, it looks like Disney is rehiring James Gunn to work on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. In fact, there are some indications that maybe they really didn't fire him, that maybe he's been working on Guardians all along in secret. You may recall last year, I think it was right around San Diego Comic-Con time, the news broke that James Gunn had been fired from Disney because somebody had dug up some really old, very old but yet very inappropriate comments or things that he had posted on Twitter, things dealing with pedophilia and rape. And while, you know, he said he was a changed person and wrote it off as just being bad jokes, you know, if you really read through all of the comments, then it was kind of hard to just write it off as purely a joke. I mean, I know a lot of people were willing to forget it. He's never been actually, it's not like he's actually been, that we know of at least, that he's ever been accused of actually doing any kind of pedophilia or rape or anything like that. But definitely when you read his comments, it was hard to just take those as just pure jokes. I know people say stupid things, and I'm not really a fan of people taking stuff and digging things up and throwing them in their faces. People do change, people do grow, they get smarter. Especially young people, they'll say stupid stuff just to get attention. I understand that, but I got to be honest. I was and I realized I was one of the few. It seems like in the fandom that was supportive of Disney and their actions. And it wasn't that I thought that Gunn should never work again in Hollywood. At least assuming that nothing ever came to light that would indicate that he was an actual pedophile or a rapist. But I understood Disney's point of view of, they're a company that make content for young kids, and, it just wasn't worth the risk of keeping somebody on. I mean, why they hired him to begin with was something that many asked, which I think was a legitimate question. But once it came to light, and the reasons why this stuff came to light was definitely for political reasons. Gunn had been an avid Trump hater on Twitter, and so somebody on the right went and dug up these old comments and brought them to the attention. And so definitely the reasons for why these comments were brought up were political, but I still felt that if you really read all of his comments, that it was crossing a line that I don't think you should cross, and it's hard to justify as just being a joke. I hope to God he's not some kind of closet pedophile or rapist or something like that. I hope that nothing ever comes to light that he did do something like that in his past, and that, as he said, was just bad jokes done in taste. I really hope that's the case. Like I said, I state that I supported Disney in their actions of letting him go. Of course, after they let him go, after all the hubbub that was caused over that, you had the cast members write in open letters supporting Gunn and everything. But then after, Disney still stuck to their guns, and then after that, Warner Brothers swooped in and hired him up to work on their new next Suicide Squad movie, where they're basically starting clean, got rid of pretty much all the actors and everything, and brought Gunn in to write the script and maybe even direct. So I'll just say that he's been rehired. So those of you who were disappointed that he was fired to begin with should be happy that he has been rehired, and he will be he's going to be working now on both Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Suicide Squad for DC. So at the end of the day, it seems like things worked out pretty well for Gunn himself. I don't think he would have ever been hired by Warner Brothers, probably because Disney wouldn't have allowed it, had he not been fired for at least the brief time. But now he's back. Guardians 3 was delayed, I believe, if I remember correctly, but I'm sure they're going to get it back on track and everything now. Okay, so moving on to the next bit of information. So as you've probably seen, some of you, how many times have you watched the new Avengers Endgame trailer, the second trailer? I figured, I talked about this, I think, in the last news video, how I thought a trailer was going to be coming pretty soon, and I was it wasn't any insider information. It was purely just on, I knew that the embargo date for Avengers Endgame product was coming up in just a couple weeks. It's March 31st. That's when all the product will officially be released. That's when you'll start seeing the Lego sets, the Hasbro toys, the Funko Pop figures, I'm sure, that are going to be coming, and 50 million other things that Disney's licensed out to companies to make Endgame products. So that's when you'll start seeing all that stuff hit shelves, essentially on the 31st or 1st of the month, which is just a couple weeks away. And because a lot of that product we knew, because it already leaked out, we knew a lot of that product featured stuff that we had not yet seen in the trailers, like those quantum suits. And studios don't like the stuff to be revealed for the first time via toys, even though that's how it almost always seems to happen. But they don't like that. So I knew a trailer had to be coming that was going to officially show us those quantum suits and stuff before we reached that March 31st date. And so as it happens, that was yesterday. We saw the trailer. I thought it was pretty good. As I understand it, pretty much everything that happens in this trailer, as well as in the first one, is all stuff that pretty much takes place at the beginning of the movie, maybe like in the first 30 minutes or so. My biggest takeaways from this second trailer is that we do see that Tony Stark and Nebula have made it back to Earth. They're with the Avengers. They're in the scene where they're all walking in their quantum suits. So, you know, I think we all pretty much assumed that he would get back to Earth at some point, but you know, whether it was at the beginning of the movie or, you know, midway or even maybe towards the end of the movie, you know, I think now we have the answer to that, and it looks like it's going to be the beginning of the movie. Other takeaways, I mean, there really wasn't any major reveals, especially like if you've seen all the leaked promotional materials that have been coming out for months and months, again, like the quantum suits. If you avoid all that stuff, then this is the first time, this trailer is the first time you're seeing those quantum suits. But, you know, there's been plenty of artwork and toys and everything that have shown those suits. So most of us, I think, knew those were coming. Now, we still don't really know what the point of those suits are going to be. We know there's a plan in place. We know there's some kind of Hail Mary plan that they've come up with, where I guess to reverse what Thanos did in Infinity War. We don't know what the plan entails, though. We really have no details on the plan other than, you know, I think based on what many of us suspect, it's going to involve some kind of time travel. But even that, based on these trailers alone, we really don't know that. So we'll have to wait and see. We see that War Machine is wearing his armor with the suit, whereas Tony Stark is not. And it could be a couple reasons for that. Could be that Tony Stark just doesn't need to have the armor on because he can basically make his armor appear out of air with the nanotechnology, whereas War Machine I don't think has that ability. Also, War Machine probably needs the suit. I mean, he can walk, he can walk without the suit on with extra help from prosthetics or whatever, but it's probably easier for him to get around with the suit on, and since obviously they're going into action, that's probably why he was wearing the suit, and with the modifications made so it looks like one of these quantum suits. They actually had to repaint it and everything so it looked matched to everyone else's suit, which is kind of funny. It looks like there's been a significant amount of time that will have passed between Infinity War, the events of Infinity War, and this movie, and I base that in large part just by the narrative when you hear him talk and everything. But the other thing is, if you look at like Black Widow, she seems to have very long hair now in this trailer, whereas at the end of Infinity War she had very short hair. Her hair color seems to be changing back and forth between blonde and red. There's a point where she's shooting her gun where she has her blonde hair, and then there's other points in the trailer where she has her red hair. So I don't know why she keeps changing her hair color. Because even at one point it looks like where maybe it's part red, part blonde. So I don't know. That's definitely kind of weird. But definitely much longer hair. She's got it up in ponytails and stuff, but you can see her hair is much longer than really it's ever been in any of the other movies. So it takes time to grow your hair out that long. So I'm guessing months have passed between the two, and I'm sure Tony is going to have been lost out in space during that time, even though in the movie itself he's going to get back to Earth fairly soon in the movie. As far as the time in the actual movie, it's probably been months. So Tony's probably been out in space for months floating around. I'm wondering if Rocket doesn't find him. And, obviously based on this trailer, we can definitely see they're in the Guardian ship. And so I'm thinking maybe Rocket goes out and finds him and brings him back to Earth. And then we see other takeaways. Hawkeye has a mohawk now for some reason. That's definitely kind of weird. I mean, it's not a full-on Mr. T mohawk, but definitely it's kind of bordering that mohawk style. And looks like, I'm guessing the Ronin persona is only used very briefly at the beginning of the movie. If I had to guess, and this is just speculation based on things that we're seeing in the trailer, my guess is, I'm thinking his family probably vanished out of existence at the end of Infinity War. Where, Hawkeye does not look like a happy man, so I'm guessing his kids and probably his wife all vanished. We see that one scene where he's training his daughter to shoot the bow and arrow. I don't know if that's foreshadowing for Kate Bishop, but I'm guessing that that's a flashback scene and that his kids have vanished and now he's out for revenge. And so I'm guessing at the beginning of the movie, because he's still technically based on the government and everything, not supposed to be doing superhero stuff. He's supposed to be on house arrest. He adopts the Ronin persona with the mask so that he can go out and do superhero stuff without being chased down by the government. And then Natasha comes and finds him, it looks like, and brings him back to the Avengers, and so they can go on this mission to save the day. And at that point, it looks like that he goes back to his normal Hawkeye gear with the bow and arrow and everything. So again, I don't think the Ronin persona is going to be something we see a whole lot in this movie just at the beginning. So those are my biggest takeaways. Again, nothing terribly revealing in this trailer, which I like it that way. I think it's good when things are a surprise. With a lot of these Marvel movies, by the time you actually get to the movie, if you've watched all the trailers and all the TV spots and everything, you know at least 50%, if not more, what's going to happen in the movie. And I think that definitely kind of ruins it a bit. So hopefully they won't overdo it with the TV spots. I'm pretty sure this is the last trailer. This is the final trailer. We also got a new poster, which looks pretty cool, kind of in keeping style-wise with the previous one, but I think it's cool. And it's of note that Captain America is on the forefront of this one, and of course he is back in his regular Captain America outfit with this one, not wearing his mask. Of course, they never wear their masks in these movie posters, but I think it's interesting that he's on the front there in front of everybody. I don't know if that means he's going to die. I know a lot of people think, because Chris Evans has come out and said that this is his last movie, that they're going to kill him off. I hope that's not the case. I think it would be a mistake if that's the case, and hopefully they will find ways to bring him back. I saw a rumor the other day saying how Tony Stark's probably going to end up going off into space with either the Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain Marvel to help out aliens or something, which, you know, they did that in the comics where Tony Stark went off with the Guardians for a little while. So I guess I could see them doing that. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so let's now get on to the toy news. So I talked about this first Marvel Legends wave last week. We got, or last news video, and we got confirmation of the full wave based on a very blurry image that leaked out online. But we knew the comic book based figures in this wave already. We knew that the wave was going to include the Citizen V from the Thunderbolts. It was going to include that Hercules figure, the Nighthawk figure, and the Living Laser with the translucent plastic. We'd seen all those figures last year at the cons, and Hasbro had confirmed that those figures were at Toy Fair were going to be in the first wave. We also knew that the Ebony Maw figure from Avengers Infinity War was going to be included in this wave as well, but we did not know until just a few days ago what the Endgame. We knew it was going to be Endgame figures, but we didn't know who exactly it was going to be. We had lists that had leaked out, so we had maybe a general idea, but then this weekend, the image from, looks like maybe a Toy Fair or something, had leaked out that gave us blurry looks at the remaining figures. So they are Endgame related, and again, I'll go over it. So we're getting Ronin, we're getting a Ronin figure, and I'm just going to go over all these, and because with these new images, they come via Instagram, and the place that's being, the person that's being credited with at least most of these images is a Tommy Tremblay, if I'm saying that correctly. So that's who I'm going to link to for this. I don't know 100% because he doesn't actually have these images on his Instagram page, but that's who everyone, these just get passed around social media. And as I understand it, these are from a Canadian Toys R Us. Now, we also got an image of the actual Build-A-Figure that's like on somebody's table. So I don't know, but that's the only figure that actually somebody took a picture of, at least so far, of out of the packaging. So I don't know what's going on with that, and I don't even know if they're all from the same source. But I'm going to go with the Tommy Tremblay as far as putting a link for as credit in this video. So I'm just going to break it down. So with the Citizen V figure, he's going to come with a sword, which is his weapon of choice, and then he's going to come with one of the legs for the Thanos Build-A-Figure. And then also the Ebony Maw figure is going to come with the other leg for Thanos. Ebony Maw does not seem to come with any other accessories, so he is just the figure itself plus the Build-A-Figure piece. We're getting the Hercules figure, the comic book based Hercules figure. No, Hercules is not in this movie. These comic book figures are not going to be in this movie, despite what some people might say. These are just comic book figures that they're including with the wave. So Hercules, seems like has the most accessories. He's going to have an alternate pair of hands. He's going to have a sword. He's going to have a mace, and then he comes with the head for Thanos. The Nighthawk figure, he comes with Thanos' strange-looking weapon. And to me, this looks like he picked up a steel girder or something and he twisted it and is using it as a propeller or something. Maybe it's a bladed weapon. I don't know. I mean, if you've got the Infinity Gauntlet, I don't know why you need a weapon at all. But maybe he loses the gauntlet and picks this up during a fight or something. I don't know. But that's what to me. It looks like a twisted piece of metal that he's using as some kind of propeller type weapon or something. I don't know. But that's going to be included with the Nighthawk figure as well as the right arm. And then the living laser is going to come with the torso piece and have some effect pieces that you can put on the living laser's hand. So it looks like he's shooting out lasers, which is the same kind of effect piece we've seen many, many times in the line. And then for the Endgame figures, Ronan, he's going to come with the 2 swords. Does not come with an unmasked head. If you want an unmasked Clint Barton head, you're going to have to get the 2-pack. I've talked about that. That's the 2-pack that comes with Black Widow and Hawkeye in their quantum suits. And that set is also going to have the alternate heads of Iron Man, Nebula, and Ant-Man. So the idea being that you can take those alternate heads and you can take the Nebula head and stick it on the Black Widow body, so you can have Nebula or Black Widow. If you buy the set twice, then you can have both of them. And then same thing with the Ant-Man, the Iron Man heads. You can take them and stick them on that Hawkeye body, or you can go and buy the Captain America figure in this regular wave, and I'm guessing that those heads will also work on this figure. Now, the thing to note is, like, you'll notice in the trailer that these guys are not wearing their masks. I didn't think they would be when they had these suits on. They're all walking without their masks on, even though all the toys we see have their masks on. So I actually, especially with the Marvel Legend figures, think it would be cool that if they actually had given us unmasked heads as opposed to masked heads. Now, most of these characters, Hasbro's already done unmasked heads, so if you have the Tony Stark unmasked head, you can probably stick it on the Iron Man figure, or the Hawkeye body with Tony Stark head as opposed to the Iron Man helmet. Same thing with Steve Rogers. You can probably stick the unmasked Steve Rogers head that Hasbro's done on this quantum suit Captain America figure, I'm guessing, and so on and so forth. Scott Lang, we've got an unmasked Scott Lang head, so same thing. You hopefully could probably stick it on one of these quantum suit bodies if you want the characters to be more movie accurate without their masks on. So, and then Captain America is the other figure which just comes with Captain America's shield, and then also has the one of the arms with the gauntlet for Thanos, the right arm. So don't know if we can't really see from these images a good look at the gauntlet itself, so I don't know how many Infinity Gems are still attached to it. If it might be all of them, I don't know. We saw a Lego set that the images had leaked out of where it looked like only had 2 gems in the gauntlet. Of course, with those Lego sets, you can actually take usually you can take the gems out of the gauntlet. So I don't know if that was a hint to something in the movie, or just that when they took the picture, they didn't have all the Infinity Gems attached to the actual gauntlet. But nevertheless, we don't really get a good look with these images to see the gauntlet itself, so I don't know how many gems are there. But the Captain America shield has a little extra ring on it. You can see around the star. That's not something we've seen before. I don't know if that's something Hasbro added for themselves, maybe to differentiate it from all the other Captain America movie shields that they've done, or if that's something we actually see in the movie. I mean, obviously, the shield has to have been repainted at some point between the events of Civil War and this movie. So maybe, Stark, when he repainted it and repaired it, added that little extra circle. We didn't get a look at the outer side of the shield in the trailer, so I can't say for sure what the shield is actually going to look like in the movie, if this is accurate or not. I'm guessing if it is accurate, it's just, there's not a specific reason for it. It's just they added the extra circle for the heck of it, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see if there's anything more to that. So, and then that again brings us to the Thanos figure. The Thanos figure is the one we're getting the best look at because it's actually out of the package. Again, I don't know if this is from the same source, but And if it is, how did they get it? I'm guessing if somebody found these at Toys R Us, they probably weren't able to check out with them. I've not seen any more images pop up online of the figures out of the packaging. I've been checking. I looked eBay. I haven't seen anything pop up on eBay, but I do suspect as we get closer and closer to that March 31st embargo date, we will see this stuff leak out more and more. Probably start seeing it on shelves here in the United States. I was hoping, now that we got the new trailer, that Hasbro was going to go on and release official images for these figures, and I do suspect that will be coming pretty soon, maybe next week. Again, now that the trailer's out, they can start showing off this product, I would assume, and so next week we might, even though most of the stuff is already leaked out, we'll probably start seeing official release images of the Lego sets and the Funko Pop stuff and the Hasbro basic stuff and the Marvel Legends and stuff. So if that does happen, we will definitely have all that up on Marvelous News. Though, like I said, pretty much all that stuff is leaked out already, so you've probably already seen it before. But it's always nice to get the official look and details and everything, just to go along. Okay, now real quick, one last thing I want to talk about is just I've talked about these basic figures before, but besides the Marvel Legends 6-inch figures, Hasbro does 6-inch basic figures. They're not quite as tall as Marvel Legends, and they have less articulation, usually have a little less detail. But the one I wanted to point out here was the Hulk figure. I don't think I talked about this one previously. When I talked about these basic figures, I talked about Iron Man and Captain America and Ronin and Captain Marvel with their longer hair. But the Hulk figure, Hulk here is wearing the Quantum suit. We've seen promotional art. Now in the trailer, it's Bruce Banner that's wearing the Quantum suit, not the Hulk. I don't know if he'll actually turn into the Hulk and with the Quantum suit on or not, or if it's something he'll wear throughout the movie. We'll have to wait and see. But I just wanted to point out, just in case you hadn't seen it, that there is at least a 6-inch basic figure. Now, that also begs the question, will we see the additional characters like Thor and Rocket Raccoon and Hulk even in these Quantum suits for the Marvel Legend line? We definitely are seeing them for the basic line, but will Hasbro end up, obviously Hulk and Thor need bigger bodies than that basic buck that they're using for the rest. So will they do a whole new set for Thor and Hulk, maybe a 2-pack? Or maybe, would they give Hulk and Thor the same body with just different heads and hands? I don't know. I would hope they would give us 2 actual separate figures, but we'll have to wait and see. And then obviously Rocket would require its own figure as well, since you couldn't use any of the other bucks for Rocket. But, it'll be interesting to see if those are included in the second wave. Some of you have seen the rumors flying around that you think the second wave, the Build-A-Figure of the second wave of Avengers figures is going to be the Warbuster, as it's being called, which is what Lego is doing a set of War Machine as like a Hulkbuster, which seems to be essentially just a retooled version of the Hulkbuster they did for Infinity War. So I don't know if that's something we actually see in the movie, or if Lego just got lazy and wanted to throw out an additional set and repaint an old one and thought it would be cool. So nothing I've seen officially, not even like promo art have I seen for a War Machine Hulkbuster armor, but some of you seem to think that could be the Build-A-Figure for the second wave of figures. I don't know. I don't have any information on the second wave of Endgame figures, but I would think it's a good possibility we'll see some of the remaining characters with their Quantum suits, and then again, the Build-A-Figure may or may not be Endgame related. We'll have to wait and see. That's it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about today. Were you excited for the trailer? How many times have you watched the trailer since it debuted yesterday? It's definitely been a highly viewed trailer on YouTube. So, what are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on James Gunn? I think probably most of you are going to say you're happy with the decision. I know, like I said, I was in the minority when I said I supported Disney and they're firing him to begin with. But, let me know in the comment section below on that as well. And then, of course, what Marvel Legends are you most excited for? And what other Endgame Marvel Legends do you want to see released? Let me know in the comment section. Check out all the contests that I have going on, my Instagram page, on the message boards, and be sure to check back next week for details on what I'm going to be doing to say thank you for the 50,000 subscribers. And until next time, guys, please do subscribe to the channel. Like I said, my next goal after breaking the 50,000 is going to be 100,000, so definitely going to need your help to do that. And then hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. Follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts, and then head over and sign up for the Marvelous News and Toy News International message boards if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, catch you later.